Aha! Welcome everyone! Welcome to Drakenmemoria. So, for those of you who might be wondering what this is, well, this is Dungeons and Dragons, and more specifically, in this case, a group of people playing Dungeons and Dragons. So, if this isn't your thing, well, we're not changing our schedule, so you'll have to make do. Or leave. We won't judge you. For everyone else, welcome back. For those who follow us every week, welcome among us for those who might be new. And for those who are just there because they're bored and they're looking for something to watch, well, you're also welcome among us. Don't worry, we won't try to kill you while you're watching this. It's not like the game. It's Dungeons and Dragons, not figuring out who killed who.
Although that does sometimes happen.
Yeah.
In the game.
Right now it hasn't, but who knows? It might happen one day. So, for those of you who were there last episode, we had the special Halloween episode where everyone got to be thrown into a bit of a nightmarish version of the world. So that episode was slightly off the story, but also part of it. So, as I've said, there will be consequence for, in this case, having succeeded it, which you will learn in a few moments. But to remind everyone what was happening just before all of that nightmare happened, the group was... Oh, and before I forget, I noticed that there is actually a lot of people watching our episodes in the VOD, more than live. So for those of you who might be watching these from the VOD, and because right now there can only be two episodes in there at a time, if you want to watch past episode, they're all archived on YouTube, our YouTube channel, which you can find just below the window, as well as on the Patreon page. So you can catch up on any episode that you've missed from that. And as always, just take one moment to thank those who are supporting this channel. Chaotic Calling, who raids us every night, and Carney City Guild. Did I pronounce it right? Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Well, both have links in the window below. In the
It's
space
been
below.
determined that Aiden does not care much for pronunciation of anything.
Character's name is pronounced Bartholomew. Fight me.
Alright, so for those of you who might be new, wondering what happened in the past in more than 2 episodes ago, you can always go there, and you'll have everything. Although I think up to episode 18 is mostly prologue. So the adventure really starts a bit after that, I think episode 22. And you'll notice that there's only one player from the complete beginning that is still there. So the prologue eventually became audience's backstory. So it was unintentional, but you know, that's where it happens. So all right. After that, what happened previously? So, just before the nightmare of Halloween started,
Oh, oops.
everyone was starting their way for the next quest that they have on their list, which was to venture to strange lights which happen near Otonel, one of the large main cities of Estron. And they were there to investigate strange pinkish lights, for which they were given equipment to help them study this, figure things out, have a better understanding of what's going on there. This is where they met Tykar, because their previous friend, which was a priestess, got a spiritual calling and was forced to go back to her monastery. So Tykar joined the group right after that. This was mostly to make sure that everyone was there, everyone sort of tolerated one another, but it eventually ended pretty well, as Tykar managed to impress audience with his musical skill. Tykar managed also to make an impression on Remy, although not on the same end of the spectrum. Mostly jealousy started from Remy toward Tykar. And Fisher, well, as always, remained extremely eloquent before Tykar, and just accepted him in the group. The evening went well. Tykar made a huge show. They managed to meet a very special woman who gave off a sense of presence that was a lot stronger than it should have been. Tykar tried to seduce her, didn't succeed, and was also struck by a little bit of jealousy, as audience, who didn't do anything during this seduction scene, still managed to get a kiss out of the woman before she left.
Some got game, some don't.
Tykar, who tried everything, tried to seducing her, bragging about himself, giving a show of competence with the crossbow, got a kiss on the cheek before she left. And then she gave the same thing to audience. Paladin, you know. So Tykar turned to his second choice, a half-elf, which he wasn't able to officially determine whether she was or he was male or female. There was sort of this androgynous thing, but he decided to go for it. Managed to convince this person to follow him to his extremely luxurious room for a night of frivolity. And this is where everything turned to nightmare, and everyone was sent into a nightmare realm where they met undeads, saw giant spiders grab people, saw others being eaten alive, went face to face, not for fighting, but they saw a gargantuan Dracolich, found corrupted paladins on the way, but they all managed to make their way out of the city with a fair amount of luck. And resolve the problem by killing a large jack-o'-lantern type creature guarding a sliver from a shard who had fallen in the field outside of the city. And once they destroyed this sliver, just before they got completely pulverized by the huge Dracolich that was diving toward them, and learning that there are no natural 20s who are not welcome, because only because of that natural 20 was audience able to destroy the shard before the dragon killed everyone. And so they all went back inside this empty space floating around, and they started to wake up from their previous evening. Fisher and Raimi, when you wake up, your memory goes back to what it was, and there's not a lot of difference from the night that you remember as it started in the Nightmare Realm. Fisher, instead of staying on the first floor, you just went to your own room and did your own things. Roughly the same thing happened with Remy after a little while. Taikar, there's a slight difference in your memory as they come back. You did manage to have an evening with your friend, which in the best of traditions of Bard, who only want a night of frivolity, never bothered to ask the name of that person. So
Might come up.
yeah, you know, it's a classic. You wake up in the morning, you look at the person, and you say, I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember your name. So the evening went not as well as you wanted, because, face it, you only rolled a 15 when trying to seduce the person. So you remember, okay, you spent most of the evening trying to set up the mood, so not as much as you would have liked happened. Something did happen, but you had to spend a lot of energy, made a lot of effort so that the mood became exactly what you wanted. And also, well, you have to admit that you were working with someone who realized that they were your second choice, so also that doesn't help. So you worked hard, but you did get a little candy out of this. When you wake up in the morning, you remember having a pleasant night. Although there is a moment where you wake up and you look beside yourself and you see your friend, and there's this moment of, is he alive? But things seems to be all right.
I'm not that.
Sorry?
I'm not that rough.
No, but you remember everything that happened in the shard, and you also remember that he turned on you and tried to eat you alive. So, as part of the undead. But you wake up and you realize he's there, and okay, he's not trying to eat me. Things are different. Okay, well, good. Audience, you're probably the one whose memories have the largest upgrade, because in your memory from the shard, you just stayed in the inn for a while, and this is when everything started to go weird. But when your memory comes back, you do remember why you had a lot of those strange impressions while you were in the beginning of this nightmare. You remember going outside of the inn and taking your emblem off once you were out and starting to walk in the city. And if you don't mind, we'll just act it out, because it's not going to be very long.
Okay.
And as you walk down the street thinking about all that happened, the warning that the woman gave you, and all that happened in the last few days, you think to yourself, wonder what all of this can mean, and this is when you look in front of you and you realize there's someone sitting on a stone fence, you could call it, just a little place in front of one store, probably some a place where people tie their horse, and you do recognize the general silhouette of the person. It looks like Desul. He is currently not looking at you, but he has something in his hand. He seems to be eating. and he's looking at the moons.
I would make my way over to him.
Well, as expected, before you have a time to say anything, unless you want to yell at him, he realizes that you're there. You just see him look slightly to the side and go back to watching the moons, and calmly saying, welcome to Caravel, the forgotten child of Estrin. A very peaceful city.
Just smaller than some of those that I've been to before. Good to see you here. It's been a little bit. How have you been?
Exploring what all of this means. This reality with the garden and everything that they mean. It is all strange. All so very strange how they just appeared. And suddenly object from our world appeared in their hands.
It is quite strange, but their story seems to at least check out of what they told us.
Yes. They do all seem fairly honest. Though they are hiding something. What exactly, I do not know. But I do have the feeling they do not have ill intention toward us. And what about you? You seem troubled.
I've had a few rough run-ins, I would say, since I last saw you that have made me question some things about my own beliefs and just almost the overall power levels that what it means to be a god. But please do not let my troubles concern you on such a bright night. Looking up at the moons.
Yes. It is pleasant to have the moons. Although, later this year, we will have the dark sky. I guess it all fits with the ominous reason why all this could happen, and also a bit of your doubt. I believe you have been part of your religion for quite a while now.
Basically, since I was born.
I would say that it is quite a coincidence that it all happens this year. Your doubt, the garden, and strange events all over Estrin.
The world does work in mysterious ways.
More than you think, less than you would expect. I do not know exactly what has caused you to doubt all that you have held as the unique truth of the world. But maybe you should try and give a prayer to your god. Not all gods answer every prayer. But then again, as I understand it, you are a small religion. Your god cannot afford to lose one of its greatest champion.
Of course. You're right. I should not doubt so easily.
Oh, doubt can be healthy. So long as it does not cause you to fall into inaction.
I remember those words.
you're welcome to watch the night. I feel there is something odd about this night. Something that smells a little foul. Beyond,
I will keep on my guard then.
that is a good thing to do. As always. As always.
Well, it is always a pleasure to see you until our paths cross again.
Absolutely. And of course, if they do not cross on the world, they will eventually cross in the garden. I have a feeling we are going to be part of something different.
I'll give him a respectful nod, and I'll walk back to the inn to go to bed. And as I'm walking back, remembering his words, I'll re-put back on my amulet
All right.
and offer up a prayer to my god before going to bed.
Alright, so you go back to the inn, and when you get back, there's a lot less people. Everything's gone a lot more quiet. Some people went back to their room, so there's not a lot of people. And you notice that within your group, you are the last one still up. So make your way to your room, and you make your prayer. How exactly do you... What exactly do you say in your prayer?
I would say that I would split. I think I'd start off by being like many things, almost explaining my situation, telling my God my troubles, why I have been doubting, asking for his forgiveness, and saying that my faith remains strong, but there are some answers that I need to now find out, perhaps about the world, but I still will keep my faith while I try and find those answers.
Okay. Okay.
And just for him to, like, give me the strength to continue to basically, just to keep strength keep my faith while I continue.
All right. Well, the evening surely helps you in a way to make sure that your faith is strong and healthy as you have used your sacred power to banish a creature back to its realm. You make your prayer.
Holy yeet.
Yes?
Just the holy yeet.
Holy.
Yeah.
So you all wake up in the morning. Audience, you do feel that there was maybe a bit of an answer into everything that happened, since this was a moment so clearly made for a holy person. Without you, I mean, there's a good chance that most of the group would have died without you. So, and from your perspective, it's probably almost sure that maybe one would have survived without you. Maybe.
Remy looked very healthy before things went dark.
So there's something in all of this that feels a bit like an answer, Okay. Divine powers. There may be more scales in the heavens that you initially thought there were. But your God is still strong enough to make a difference in the world. Because of his strength, because of the power that he grants you for being his champion, you were able to save at least your friends, maybe an entire city. So you all wake up in the morning from that, and though you all feel a little bit unsettled initially, because yeah, it happens every day that you go to bed and fall into a nightmare realm. And for you, Remy, it's even more obvious than anyone else because of how your dreams are usually. That really wasn't a dream. That was as hard as reality.
I like to imagine that when he woke up, just turning over to his familiar and just staring. Horrified look on his face, hoping for some confirmation.
Your familiar looks back at you with the same face. What the heck happened? And then you do both turn around slowly, looking at the camera. Fisher and Tykar, of course, when you wake up, you do feel that moment of whoa. Tykar, you have something right beside you that helps you just be grounded back with, oh, he's there and he's not a zombie. He's not trying to eat me.
Anymore.
Was it a dream? Fisher, when you get out of your sentry rest, you are greeted by Terranad, just passing the comment, well, that was interesting. And I see your aim as an improved.
Thanks.
Maybe you should try
any constructive criticism about that, you know?
Maybe you should focus on melee spells rather than range spells.
There aren't really that many of them.
You know, there is something called research. It can help you discover new things.
I'll work on it.
We must do research.
Audience, when you wake up, you're probably the one who has something that is more different than the rest. Since you are the one who destroyed the shard at the last moment, when you just wake up, a little bit brusque because you were looking at this, from your perspective, undead god charging you, you probably have this moment of
Close one.
and just as you stand up, you hear this small sound of ting, 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 ting. Like something made of crystal that just fell on the floor without breaking.
I will look down.
You see a small shard of white quartz, very similar to the one that there was in the dream, in the nightmare realm, but this one doesn't have this ghoulish glow. It is a very clear, almost holy white color, but looks like a small shard of quartz in every other aspect.
Interesting. I will take it. I'll be like, well, that definitely confirms that that wasn't just a regular dream then, since I don't think regular dreams kind of give you objects. And then I'll be like, I'm going to hang on to this and have it checked out by someone who actually knows what they're doing, which is not me.
It's good that he's self-aware.
I mean, I'll inspect it, but I don't think I can get anything from it.
Well, the only thing that you notice from it is that it is slightly warm. Not hot, just warmer than the average temperature of a crystal.
I will pull out my orb and take a picture of it and send it to the garden. Be like, more otherworldly stuff for you.
God. You're a fucking health hazard to the realm, dude.
Actually, you know what? I'll give a full report to the garden. I'll call up Sarah and tell them about the dream, and mention that perhaps Tasul might have given a similar report since I think he was in the city, and then send a picture of the white orb.
The shard?
The shard, yeah. Of course. Shard, sorry.
No, that's alright.
For some reason, I thought white. My mind went to orb. I don't know why. Yeah, the shard.
Because it usually is the color of something that is white. It's white orb. You know,
Yeah.
So, yeah, but as always, Sierra is very interested in everything that happened and listen to every single word that you say. Once you're done, she just... That was a very interesting adventure you just had. We'll definitely have to look into it. If you say Tusul is most likely also someone who went through this, I believe he has a better understanding of your world. He's been an adventurer for much longer than you, so he might be able to give us a bit more information also. But that is...
Translation. You sound crazy as shit, so we're gonna double check with somebody else.
We're gonna check with a respected source, unlike
You might call them an academic.
Probably something very similar to that, with one added thing. Good anticipation. You know, like telling someone that they're crazy and they answer, "I'm crazy?"
I mean, I do have the white orb as proof, so I mean, I have an object to prove I'm not crazy.
No, but the garden would definitely be one of those group who would be excited in the prospect of one of their member becoming crazy because of the world that they're studying. So, one way or the other, it's good news for them.
Joy.
And they say, well, if you haven't figured out what this shard of crystal is by the time that you get back to the garden, we'll sure make every analysis we can make on it. Keep it safe. And thank you very much for this report.
Thank you, and I'll hang up.
All right. So it does take him a few moments to make all of this report. Tykar, Fisher, and Remy, what do you do as you wake up?
Well, once Remy gets over the gets over the fact that it's okay, that happened. He does the most therapeutic thing he can and starts shining the gems that he had collected from the previous night.
All right. Well, then if this is therapeutic, it's easy to assume that you do this until you feel comfortable again. So you keep on shining your gems in the soft and gentle light of your lantern until you feel that you have collected yourself completely and are ready to take on the day. Fisher and Tykar?
I am I'm just gonna head downstairs after gathering up all my stuff.
All right. So you are most likely the first one going downstairs. Tykar?
Is David awake?
Right now, he's not. But he does seem to be sleeping. You can see that he's breathing.
All right. I'm a respectful host. I'll let him sleep while I sneak out and go downstairs. Is my vault still untouched, or did we open it during the night?
I can leave it up to you. You had half a bottle when you got up, and you found a complete one in there. I'll leave that up to you. Did you want to open up the new one that you got, or just finish the one that was half empty?
Thykar's pretty light, so it wouldn't take him that much to get hammered, so I guess the other one would be opened. So I'll just go ahead and put that in my bag before I leave this person unattended in my room.
I don't care about the room, the wine, though. Yeah.
As much as the room, so yes, I do care.
All right. A peasant would have to work for almost half a year to buy this bottle. Work and not eat for half a year. All right. So in that case, Tykar and Fisher, you are probably the first one to arrive. Start walking inside the inn. Go to the first floor, where everyone is. I'd say both make a perception roll.
Who? Sorry.
Tykar and Fisher.
My audio quality is absolute garbage right now.
That's all right.
That's gonna be a 10.
Okay.
Noise. 5.
Well, we can justify Tykar because he drank a lot and he woke up next to someone who tried to eat him in a odd realm. Fisher, you are probably still mad about what Taranad said. So when you get back to the first floor, you just look around, not really paying attention to anything that's there, and just sitting down on one of the stool next to the counter and angrily wait at everyone else. All the while, you don't know, you feel like you've heard this song before because Taranad does sometimes sings, and right now he's humming a tune that you've heard at least once in Dragonborn City. It has a bit of a tribal feel to it. There's a lot of drums during it, but basically it's something that Dragonborn sings when they want to make fun of another Dragonborn who missed something 5 times in a row. And you do recognize the song with a little, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. And you remember hearing the drums and around, tom 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 tom. Just as you're hearing that music live within you, Tykar arrives. Tykar, you see everyone there. It's not a super great roll, but your passive perception is close enough to this so that it mostly makes up. And you look around and you do realize that Fisher seems to be mad about something. You look at everyone around you, and for the most part, no one seems to be doing anything that suggests that they remember anything of it. even the owner, you don't see anything, but you do notice one person who seems to be looking around, a bit scared. Just. And then he goes to the door, to the outside. You see him open the door of the inn slowly. Just take a peek outside. Look back inside and leave.
All right. Now that Tweaker's gone, I'm going to get my breakfast.
All right. Well, the breakfast is part of the food that you bought the day before. Usually, you buy for 1 day of food, but since you don't stay up till noon, you get dinner and breakfast with the same amount. So you get your food, good meal. That's what you bought last time. So you get the morning special. Well, what would the morning special look like for an Arakokra? I'm not sure. So, start eating. Fisher, you realize that Tykar is not far away. Just ordered the meal that still owed him from the night and everything that he paid.
Yeah, I guess no, I don't notice anything else in the room because I rolled a 4.
No, you're a bit mad about this tune that Taranad is humming. That just seems to be twisting the knife in the wound just a little bit more.
Morning.
Bon matin. What's up with you?
Oh, just dealing with got a song stuck in my head. How was your night?
Was I really that good? Thank you.
Not that song.
Amazing, you know. Thacker scoffs. Anyways, my night was amazing as always.
How'd you sleep?
Okay, I guess. When I finally got to sleep, I think I must have thrashed around a bit because a few things are knocked off my night table, but you know, nightmares are nightmares. They happen.
Mm-hmm. I mean, not to me though, so you know. Zombies, dragon, spooky pumpkin thing. Ring a bell.
Remembering a dream like 5 minutes after waking up is like a monumental task. Does my 8 intelligence
Absolutely, because it wasn't actually a dream. Up until Fisher started saying things that were from your dream, you could still think that this was just a dream. But now that he's saying this, and when he said dragon, zombie, and things like that, you hear someone dropping whatever they have in their hand and just go, and you go, cling.
Okay. I've heard stories from doctors who know of a case called mass hysteria, but this is weird. Yeah, that's about what I remember. But we're still here. I remember the dream ending when we were in a field. Why did I wake up in my bed? Anyway. I'm still half grogged up, not making much coherent sense, so don't worry about it.
Slightly hungover.
If it makes you feel any better, you passed. To be honest, until that dream last night, I didn't really think that much of you. But you seem to be able to handle yourself pretty well, so welcome to the group. It's kind of weird. This is the second time now that I've been introduced to new members via dream. Although this one seems to be a little different, seeing as other people may have had it.
Yes. So sorry, I completely forgot what I was about to say. As
called
if I
being
was about
hungover.
to answer, I was casually just leaning and like dozed off for like half a second, trying to ungrog myself, and just banged my beak on the table, like, sorry about that.
It's the monotone of my voice, isn't it?
No. It's unlike most people here, I was actually legitimately physically exerted last night, so.
I mean, that performance didn't seem like that much work.
Can we have David just like shamble and limp down the stairs?
Well, I'd say
He might, but I rolled a 4 on my perception.
exactly. So yeah, sure. You notice your friend just walking down the stair, but you also notice that Fisher could be staring at an elephant and think that it's just a foggy day. Sorry. Okay, I think there was technical problems.
Oh, yep.
Yep, I'm back. All right, so what'd you say? Sorry, my Skype on my phone just dropped.
Okay. All right. Well, we can hear you good. We just don't have any image.
Oh, damn. Okay, hang on. I'll hang up and be right back.
All right. Well, in
Whether
that,
it's Terranad or the DM, like dishing up hot takes, serving them up.
Back up.
all right. So what I was saying was, yeah, of course, your friend David could easily have David look-alike. I don't want to get sued for.
We're calling it David, not current David, because that's a bit of a crime right now.
So, well, that's why I say David look-alike. You know, he just looks like. So, yeah, of course you could see him walk down the stairs. The problem is that Fisher rolled a 5. So right now you have the feeling that he could be looking at the belly of an elephant and think that it's a foggy day.
Damn.
So you can almost quite literally see your friend walking 3 feet behind Fisher and just giving a wink at you and keep on going, and Fisher didn't notice a single thing. He just kept looking at you throughout all of this thing.
If he winked at me, I'll wink back and blow a kiss. Not looking at Fisher, please. Let's not start that story arc yet.
He said yet. He said yet.
Well, we've established that Tykar is most likely, I was gonna say bisexual, but I'm not sure it's gonna be it's gonna qualify everything that can happen in Dungeons and Dragons. So,
Up for anything?
I mean, I'm not bisexual. I'm very promiscuous. There's a difference.
so it's just for the lust of it. Got it.
There we go.
So Tykar has his preference in deeper relationship, but when it's for the lust, yeah, man. Anything that I was gonna say walk, but who knows? It's Dungeons and Dragons. So yeah, and Fisher, because of your 5, you notice that Tykar winked at someone, blew a kiss, but your perception is so low that you turn around and you missed it. Yeah, probably just a maid.
Sure.
Cool.
Whatever boats your float.
Fair enough. Is anybody else up yet?
Most likely. If you just keep talking a bit like this, eventually, I'd say maybe in another 10 or 20 minutes, Audience and Raimi will easily come down. Probably almost at the same time. Depending on how stressed Raimi is and how long he takes to shine his jewels.
He thinks about Audience, it motivates him to go a bit faster.
So, how long does Remy take to be reassured?
Well, I would say however much time it takes to polish 4 gems. So.
All right. Then in that case, since Audience made a full report, you probably arrived downstairs just a few minutes before him. So you arrive downstairs and you see everyone that's there, and you can make a perception roll. But already with your passive perception, it's high enough to see things.
Doop. That'll be a 25.
Well, it's definitely better than your passive perception. So, as you walk down, you notice that there's a lot of people who seems to be completely oblivious of everything that happened. But you do notice 1 or 2, and just by walking in front of a window, walking in the street, you notice that there's probably a handful of people in total who seem to be extremely nervous right now. They're looking at every corner before looking twice, just on the other side of every corner of building to make sure that there's nothing there, and just keep on walking. But probably 95% of the population of people that you can see from your point of view seem to just be going about their life as if nothing happened. But there's just that 1 person out of 10 that seems to be reacting in a way that would fit having lived through such a nightmare. So
It is kind of like looking around as he's presumably walking toward Audience and Fisher, just noticing these strange, well, maybe not strange reactions, but because valid reactions.
Yeah. You do notice that the inn owner isn't reacting like this. And you notice that you also notice two persons that you actually remember killing in the dream that don't actually seem to react at all to you or to any of all this.
I just want to imagine just like immediately when he sees them, just like jumps a little bit and trying to like and tries to like like do like the
raise the hood of your coat. All right. Well, Tykar and Fisher, you barely notice Remy before he arrives to you. He's probably like 5 steps away when you sort of realize, oh, hey, it's you. Just as you see him arrive, you see audience walking down the stairs. Like I said, he's probably just a few minutes behind Remy. So,
and deliberately, when Remy sees Fisher, it's like like makes a rainbow.
Morning.
Morning.
Probably does notice Fisher. I don't know. Does Woody really notice if Fisher was in a kind of sour mood?
I don't know. The tone of his voice doesn't change a whole lot, and he doesn't really have facial expressions.
with the perception that he rolled, since sound do fall in the category of perception and not insight, I'd say you do notice a faint feeling of brooding or annoyance. You're not sure which one it is. It is faint, but you can just make it out.
He's maybe just kind of like tilt his head and kind of like keep looking at Fisher.
Yes. Can I help you?
You're right there, my boy.
Yeah, I'm fine. I was just talking over, just telling Tykar here how I thought it was interesting that, the last 2 times now that, new folks have joined the group, it's been accompanied by a dream.
Audience, like I said, you're barely 1 or 2 minutes behind Remy. You are on the first floor of the inn right now.
Okay. I'm gonna make my way over to them. But yeah.
Like part of that, maybe as audience is like coming in, Remy's just kind of like shaking his head while repeating Fisher's words: "Dream, dream, dream."
You trying to say you didn't have a dream?
Like he shakes his head, but kind of like repeats, like dream, shakes his head.
I am using, dream as a rather loose definition of what apparently happened last night.
Randy Minor Illusions, a picture of the jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah. You gotta remember, Ramy, I am not particularly well versed in dreams in general. So, that seemed pretty standard to me.
When you make the image of the jack-o'-lantern, you hear someone go, "Dear God!" And you hear someone run outside the inn.
Although that is a little weird. I'll admit that much.
I'll walk over. I'll be like, "You guys discussing the dream we all had last night?"
Raimi is pretty insistent that it is not technically a dream.
I believe that. There was some physical evidence of it this morning, and I'll show him the shard.
Oh. Shit. Does that... Because I was totally paying attention when you first described it.
It is a small. It is a small shard, very similar in appearance to just one quartz crystal, but the color of it is of a pure white, nearly holy kind of white.
Does it look at all like the gem
that
we broke last night?
It looks exactly like it, with the exception of the color. The gem that you broke had a ghoulish white-blue color, as this one has a very holy white color.
But outside of color, it looks like exactly the same.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's... Yeah, no, that's interesting.
Maybe he holds out his taloned hands.
I'll pass it to Remy.
Okay. And he kind of like pops a squat on the table, opens a book, and also pulls out a pearl. And he just like basically for the next 10 minutes, you basically have no idea what he's doing.
I know what he's doing.
Well, I'd say
he's actually done it out in the open with you guys. So,
well, Fisher, I'd say since you are aware of this spell existence, but you don't actually have it, make an Arcana roll, which shouldn't be that hard for you.
It shouldn't.
But it is.
Rolled the same thing I did last time. So that's 9 total.
9. Well, it's already better.
It's a spell I could have learned.
Yeah, the way that he's mumbling it. Yeah, that looks like I can understand some of the words. It's probably something that I can learn eventually. Then you hear Taranad go.
I get what he's trying to do, though.
And you hear Taranad go.
Weird object,
and
he's
what is he trying to do? Yeah, he's ritually casting a spell on the object. And with a bit of logic, most likely something that will help all of you not die from the object.
I'm not dumb. I'm just not really paying attention to the words he's saying right now.
Some of the words are unknown to you, so you have an impression of it, but exactly which one it is, there's a few choices in your mind that come up. So, after 10 minutes of waiting, fortunately you've all seen someone do a ritual casting before, so you are aware that it's going to take at least 10 minutes. So, at the end, Remy, when you finish casting your... so, was it Detect Magic or Identify?
Identify.
Identify, okay. You learn that this is something very odd. It is definitely something magical. It is tethered to a pocket realm. You have the feeling that it's meant to be either a storage room or a research room. And the spell reveals to you that it is a small room. Just 10 feet by 10 feet with a door right at the center. And audience can open it because he is the one that cleansed the shard. He doesn't need anything. He just needs to be aware of it, and all he has to do is think about the space that is behind it. You know that if he does, there's going to be a slight slit that will appear in front of him. And it's as easy as entering the open flaps of a tent.
Good luck explaining that to audience.
So he gets the impression that like those are the two options, whether it's like a place of research or a place to.
No, you're not sure which one it is. You know that you can place a lot of things in there, and it is big enough to be a room where you could, but you get the feeling that it can be both.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and you also you also know that the space can only be closed from the outside, and it is hermetically sealed when you close it. So you only have the air inside the room if someone is inside of it when it's closed.
Oh no.
Okay. That's good to know. Does he have an impression about how, or does the spell kind of like reveal how many times this can be done?
From what you gather, unlimited amount of time. It is a small 10 feet by 10 feet pocket realm in the shape of a room, a stone-walled room.
All right, so Raimi is going to like hop out of his chair, look at audience, and hold out the crystal. And actually, this might be slightly uncomfortable for him, but this is the best one that he knows. He is going to like minor illusion an image of a very dark basement and point to the shard.
Yeah.
That's not gonna do it.
I'll look at him. I'll look at him and be like, "Are you saying the shard is still dangerous?"
That he shakes his head. He's now going to try, like pointing to the room, dismissing the illusion, but then minor illusions, a crate.
Okay.
A crate.
Just like a wooden storage crate.
Alright, I better understood that one. Are you saying it's a place of storage?
Like he nods his head and then like insists that he points at you.
I'll roll one more time for that. Decent. It's a place of storage I can use.
Mm-hmm. And he kind of like even just kind of like double points at you, and points to himself and shakes his head. Points to Tykar, shakes his head. Points to Fisher, shakes his head.
Place of storage only I can use.
He nods his head.
Okay. But it's an orb. I don't think I could fit much in there.
He makes a glittery image with his hands.
Like street performers,
like
in the
literal
street.
sparkles and glitter.
No, that was in that one. I don't think glitter would help. I mean, yes, I guess I could store glitter in there. That's small.
Raimi just hand it to him. As much fun as it is to watch.
It's like
this.
those.
Yeah. Rainy with a defeated kind of look, but recognizing Fisher's voice, just takes Audience's hand, puts the crystal in it, and I don't know, maybe maybe just like forces Audience's hands to like wave around a little bit.
Audience will look confused, but he'll look around, and then I'll try and pull the orb apart like he's trying to open it because he doesn't know how else it's supposed to, or shard, not orb. I'm gonna keep saying that, I know, but
That's all right.
Shard. He's gonna try and like pull it apart to see if it opens.
And you see him take the shard and pull on the shard and try to.
Rainy is going to pull out the medallion of the dragon, point at him again, and then make those same glittery, like glittery image.
Audience is gonna still not understand that, but he is gonna start yelling at the shard to open while he pulls on it.
You know, audience, I think you just have to pull harder. You know, just put some oomph into it.
I'll pull harder and keep yelling open.
All right, so I'm just gonna add something to Remy to the Discord.
Hey, Tykar, how long do you think it's going to take him to figure out how to open this thing?
Like I'm trying to think if
Tykar's dumber than me. He probably did a great job.
I'm trying to think if like
Tykar
if
is
they've actually like
quiet.
seen any portals together.
Oh. Tykar might not be here.
Your audio isn't coming through.
Yeah, you're either muted or your audio left the room.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
There it is.
Like, are we eating? Because these guys work with magic rocks. I spend a lot of calories, so I gotta replenish.
All right.
Tiger can't
Raimi.
figure this shit out. He's he's dumb as shit.
All right. Ravi is now going to all right, he's going to like minor illusion the basement one more time. But now he's going to point to audience, kind of like put his hands over to like close his eyes, and then point to his head.
Audience will close his eyes, pull on the shard, and say basement, as though it might be the password. Open basement.
Okay. Yeah, that could be close enough. So you just yell out basement, or do you really think about all this concept and okay, basement?
I mean, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, open the basement.
All right. Well, close enough. you see, you have the shard and you think about it, trying to pull it apart, and suddenly, with everyone in the inn watching you because you've started screaming at a shard, you see a slit of energy appear in front of you, roughly almost 10 feet high. So immediately you see a group of maybe 10 to 15 people go at the same time. What is it? What's happening? Hey, wait. This is a closed place. Don't do magic in here.
Audience will stick his head inside the thing, but not step through it to see what's inside. So now you just see half of audience body disappear.
So it's exactly like pushing half of your body inside a tent. It gives as little resistance as that. Imagine a tent that you would have closed the top and the bottom, but left the middle part completely open. So it gives very little resistance. And you can easily slide through, and what you see inside is a 10 square feet room, basically 10 feet by 10 feet by 10 feet. Made of stone. You're not sure where the light comes from, but it is fairly well lit. There's one thing that does become more obvious as you slip your head in. There's a heavy smell of smoke and char. And you notice that the walls are covered in scorch mark. But other than that, the room is completely empty. There's a little bit of ash on the floor, a lot completely at the end of the opposite side of the room, and just a little bit on each side. You see indentations on the wall, suggesting that there might have been shelves there. But now it's ash everywhere. You do notice maybe a few pieces of broken glass. But other than that, the room is completely empty. 10 feet by 10 feet by 10 feet.
I'll pull my head out and I'll announce it's a burnt room. And then I'll go, basement close.
Alright, close enough. It'll work.
And this will now be what I will say to it for the rest.
So long as audience think about what he's saying, because for the door to open, and I'll write everything in D&D Beyond, so next game you can just add it. Like I said, since someone started looking at everything that I added on D&D Beyond and guessed at what was going to happen by things that I added, I tend to add them during the during the interval of sessions. So as long as audience thinks about the room and he has the shard on him, the slit is going to open.
Alright. I'll put the shard back in my pocket. Or pocket, but like my bag. I'll be like, that's cool.
And of course, Tykar, Fisher, and Remy, when audience entered half of his body in there, you heard a lot of people just go, "What's happening? Where's the rest of his body? There's no blood anywhere. What happened to him?" You hear someone
he got cut in half.
You hear someone at the other side of the room go, "Oh no, the night is not over. It's gonna happen again." And they just start running outside the door screaming. Tykar,
just
you're
has
muted
this,
again.
this defeated look on his face. Probably shoulders hunched.
Tykar, you're muted again. We only saw your lips move.
Fuck's sake. I said Tykar knows the magic trick of sawing someone in half, and that is not how you perform it. I am unnerved.
Of course, it's not everyone everywhere. Magic is something that is known, but, performing a magical trick like this is a bit more than level 1 magic. People are used to seeing cantrips in the middle of a village, not a demi-plane appear. So...
I guess as audience finishes up, just like Raimi's just going to like shrug his shoulders, like close enough, and just like pats audience on the shoulder.
And we'll be like, well, maybe we'll find some use for that.
Yeah, there's...
I'm sure it'll be super hard to do that. We don't have a cart full of stuff.
But Raimi kind of like gestures a talon toward him.
But do you want us to store you, Remy?
He has a panicked look on his face and just like immediately does this. It's like he points to his ear. and then like does like a talon. Sort of like that motion of like come closer.
Oh. I'll come closer.
And you'll hear it like and you hear it in an actually like whispered quiet voice. You like treasure, Raimi?
Are you saying we should put our loot there?
It's like he nods and then makes a rainbow.
I would say, listen, I don't trust that room yet. It's all burnt, and I don't know what burnt it. I'm not putting my loot there, but you can if you want.
Maybe just kind of like minor illusions, a treasure chest.
Okay.
His eyes are very shiny as he does this. It's just like...
Sure would have been nice to have around to carry around an Umber Hulk corpse.
Yeah.
You weren't there.
Well, other than you figuring out what to do with that thing, what are we doing?
I assume we are continuing on our journey.
Anyone else want to stop by where we found that thing last night before we leave, or while we're leaving?
We can. I need to go pick up my interdimensional thing anyway.
Your what?
I don't know. The guy said he would. Or it was the scroll. Our guy said he would have.
He had a detect magic scroll made.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Raimi will raise his hand.
Yes, Raimi.
Yes, we were thinking of you. If you would like to come with us to pick it up.
Raimi nods his head. Oh, well, a little more ecstatically, it's like, oh, people are understanding me now.
All right. So you all gather and you go get your scroll. As you walk in the street, of course, you see the same thing. You realize that most people seem to be completely unaware of what happened. But there's always that one person out of 10, maybe a little less, that feels unsettled and is overly cautious. You even see one or two who seem to recognize your group. Just for a moment, they stop and they look at all of you, and you see them whisper at one another and just keep on going while watching you.
One old man looks at everybody else angrily. No.
You easily find the store where you had the scroll commissioned, and you meet the person at the front at the desk, and as you arrive in, he just hands you the scroll. He recognizes you, and wasn't too hard to make. His friend had most of the needed material right at the moment, so he only asks you for 65 gold.
Oh, that's a lot.
Anything in between 50 and 100 gold is normal for low level.
No, I know.
Is it a lot? For you? For you, is it a lot?
Yes. I don't even care about it. I wanted a device. You were the one that pushed me to get the scroll.
Well, they didn't have a device.
Yeah, and then you said we should get the scroll, and I agreed with you.
I don't see what you're complaining
Do
about.
you guys hear the crickets?
I mean, I will look at
No,
Fisher.
I don't hear any
Be
crickets.
like, do you want to split it?
Okay.
You know, you get half of the scroll, and he gets the other half. And
I'm not the one using it.
Oh, look at Raby.
You're the one with the money bags.
You don't know how much I have.
You are the one with literal bags of money
One
That
bag.
everybody
that
can
we have
hear.
talked about. It's very large and loud.
No, it's not as loud anymore.
You've still got
I'm gonna look.
Over
I'm not
500
talking
points
to you.
of
I'm not talking to you anymore.
so, who's gonna pay for it?
I think our party should pay for it since it's for the party.
Rainy is going to.
Was I here?
I don't know if I'm including Thaikar in this. I might just be including the three.
Well,
that
if
are
you wanted
with
to
me.
come with
Good.
the others, you can have come, but otherwise, you can remain at the inn or go see how the cart is doing.
I was looking for these chuckle fucks while I was flying around the city, but they took the scenic route, looking in the shops.
So you're looking for who?
No, I mean when they were in the city the first time, when they were looking for the tavern.
Yeah, I know, but they all said that they were going to get their scroll or device. So if you wanted to go with them, you can. You're part of the group, or you can stay at the inn.
Yeah, I'll take the rest of my luxury lunch in the doggy bag and leave with it, I guess.
All right. So you are in the shop with the three of them as they argue about who should be paying.
Again, I wasn't really including Thaikar in our party should pay for it. I mostly was looking at just Remy
The,
and Fisher.
Stops casting invisibility.
Rainy goes up to the counter and then like puts down an empty ink vial.
What?
Remy, I don't think he wants an ink vial.
Oh.
Audience, Ravi looks at
sir,
audience
I think
like,
our friend would appreciate it if you would happen to have any ink to refill said vial if he were to copy down this scroll.
Oh. Oh, all right. Copy it in that way. Oh, that's not just any sort of ink that you want. All right, all right. Yeah, sure. This can probably be arranged. One.
he's basically getting 50 gold's worth of ink.
Ink and paper to put inside your book. Sure. Yeah, it's easy enough to buy from him. And since it's level 1 spell, you don't need a ton of it. So yeah, easily enough. It takes in a few moments, and he comes back, puts on the counter a little inkwell with 2 runes written on it, and a little stack of paper, which you recognize easily as being enough to try and copy the spell, because it's not always guaranteed.
And then he's going to at least search his own pockets and put down 75 gold.
Okay. So that means that there is still 40 gold to be paid.
I'll go and put down 20 and then look at Fisher.
Without breaking eye contact with audience, I will very begrudgingly put down an extra 20 gold or the other 20 gold and just stare at him.
All right.
Randy feels the tension in the air.
All right. So the store owner lets you go with the scroll and the ink and the paper. And
I'll tell Rebby he can hang on to the scroll. He seems to know what to do with it.
Although, like, as they're doing, it's just like maybe help break the tension. Maybe it's just gonna like take one arm or like to the side of audience and to the other to the side of Fisher and try to like squeeze them in together into a big 3-way hug with the little.
I don't know how you're
with that
squeezing us in
7
together.
strength.
with the as I was about to say, with the little strength that he has.
With the emotional strength.
I mean, it depends if we're resisted or not.
yeah, if you resist it, it's gonna be contested strength.
I won't resist Rebby, but I won't break eye contact with Fisher either.
So it's basically like taking 2 statues and just putting them right in front of one another.
Maybe kind of like maybe like try to like insist a little bit, like maybe even just kind of like rub his face and like into their mutual chests a little bit.
So you have a bird grooming itself on each of you. Taikar, you are watching this very interesting scene. This is the first time that you see this behavior.
And why did the last person in your party leave again?
Religious mission.
Okay, that's not a very common excuse, but okay.
Yeah, well, I will break eye contact and look over at Tykar. To be fair, also, right before she left, we were in a very similar situation. Just, she was also a part of it. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, you guys will deal with your problems, and they will not become mine. Okay?
Remy is going to maybe hug audience a little bit tighter. It's like just staring at Tykar. Not be mine. Not be mine. Not be mine.
All right. So you all gather up at the outside of the store. You make your way back to your cart as you all have this scroll, which will most likely help. You know, provided that there was nothing to do the same thing within the equipment that they gave you when you left the garden for that quest. So they did give you a small box filled with things to analyze.
I didn't remember that.
Well,
also, nobody asked what it did.
Nope. I just said there was a box and it was for that quest, and nobody even looked inside the box.
I think somebody did. I remember there being small gems and stuff.
No, here's the thing.
Nobody.
Is that people did look into the box, but I believe everybody who actually saw what was in that box failed the check to understand it.
Uh-huh.
And they didn't ask the person who could understand it afterward.
Exactly.
So, you all gather up at your cart and finish preparing the cart. You do notice that your horse seemed to be slightly unsettled. He looks a bit jumpy. But other than that, everything is well and fine. And gather your stuff, put everything in the cart, and you start moving out.
Do we have enough food for the horse?
2 days. Yeah, I believe you had 1 week for the horse.
Just want to also restock on water if need be.
Oh, Brandon's gonna hold on. Just as you're about to do that,
you stop the cart just alongside the fountain that is at the center of the richer part of the city, and just as you're trying to drag the barrel out, Remy,
he hops into the cart, pulls out his decanter, and starts unscrewing it. Just sets it over and just says, "Fountain?" and 5 gallons of water starts pouring out of it.
5 gallons every round. So you just see this stream of water going.
And then when it's
so
full
it does
again,
more
just
than
does
just
it.
hose people. That's good to know, I guess.
Well, Tykar and audience, you haven't seen this object in action. Only Fisher saw it.
Then I will not bother with that.
Remy just picks a rainbow.
I'll just look at it and be like, water. Interesting.
Now you can take a big swig of water and not worry about having drank the portion of another member.
Yep.
Okay. We heading out then?
Yep.
All right. So, yeah. Horse starts moving, and you slowly start leaving the city. Just as you're about to cross the gate of the city, however, you do notice that in your path, slowly walking out the city of Caravel, is Tesul. And we will get to him as soon as we come back from the break.
Alright.
Alright, so see you all back in 10 minutes. Roughly. Can go anywhere between 10 and 13 minutes. That's the usual time of the break. So see you all back in about 10 minutes. Bye. Ah, welcome back. Alright. So, I hope you all had a pleasant break. You all got something to eat, to drink. If you didn't, well, that's your own fault. We're not giving you another 10-minute break. So, let's keep on going. So, just before the break, everyone got the scroll that they had ordered. With audience obviously feeling like it was a very underwhelming gift, and Fisher feeling like he was being cheated out of his money. But everything and
meanwhile, like Raimi's just happy that others are thinking of him, especially audience.
Yeah, there's always a special place for audience in his heart and mind. So, you all are in the cart, and just as you were about to leave the city, you notice that Tesul is close by. Sorry, is just outside of the city by the doors. Well, gates. Sorry.
I'll give Tesul a wave again.
Tykar and Fisher. Well, no. Tykar and Remy. You both have only glanced at Tesul, I believe. So, other than outside of the nightmare that you all had. So for you, it's okay. He's real. And he's exactly like in the dream nightmare thing.
Thykar will look at him with a bit of a puzzled expression. Not sure what to think of this, like strange not premonition, like yeah, you know, like dreams that you have before something happens, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I know which word you're trying to translate.
Why? I'm trying to say prémonitoire, but that's not a word in English.
I know.
Precognitive?
Yeah. Maybe. Anyways,
It's the same concept, just not the same word. But yeah.
It's a little hit of a deja vu hitting me right now.
So, yeah, as you look at him like this and the audience waves, you do see Tesul look at all of you, and as the cart pulls almost next to him, you hear Tesul say, "Ah, I see by the look of recognition in your eyes. You have all survived the night."
Were we meant to die in our dreams? Excuse me?
I do not believe that anyone died from what happened. But it would seem that only those who survived remembers.
I'll say you told us to destroy the shard, and we did. Hope the dragon didn't give you too much trouble.
I would have liked to finish this fight, but unfortunately, ending the problem was more important. I only hope that I will have another chance at this one day.
I'll just kind of give him a nod, like, go for it. Hopefully I'm not there.
One was enough. And so you have all survived? And he looks at all of you, one after the other.
I'll look around.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Audience even got a trinket.
Oh.
I'll show him the white shard. Apparently it opens a room that's been burnt, but it's like a storage space.
Ah. An interesting concept. A shard who spilled in a world, and then you find an empty room from the shard. Ah. I guess someone's experiment went awry. Well,
Perhaps.
I guess from now on, and he looks at all of you when he says this, you can all say that you are officially a part of the adventurers of this world. No matter what your gods or guild could have given you as a task in initiation, this truly is your welcoming into the adventuring world. Only those who have ventured enough can boast having visited these temporary realms. You have officially been welcome into the adventuring community, the heroes who distinguishes themselves over time. It is going to be very different for you from now on. You will be able to recognize one another. You will see people in a different light. You are all on your way to becoming heroes of the realm. But you're also on your way to living adventures which will chill the spines of the children to whom you will tell them, as well as bewilder their imagination. You will see your adventure will be more interesting, and you will find allies and people to share these events throughout the world. And you will also be able to recognize those who have never really adventured from those who have, the true veterans of this world.
As he talks about this, I'm going to start staring at him to see if I can notice a difference from before.
Make a wisdom roll.
15.
15. As he's saying this, you look at him, and the best way you could describe this, although it's not actually what happens, but what it makes you feel like, is perceiving a very faint smell that wasn't there before. You can't identify it. You have no clue what this smell feels like, but it just feels like there is a slight difference. Sort of like now that you know that this smells exists, yeah, you notice it. But it's your intuition that picks up this smells, not your nose.
Start going around sniffing everybody. You don't got it.
You're gonna start intuition smelling everyone. Yeah. Rubbing his head on people.
And suddenly Raimi is very defensive the entire time.
Alright, well, it's actually a skill that I will try to add to D&D Beyond. I haven't checked if you can actually have a skill, but it is considered a skill. Wisdom-based skill. So at any moment, if you wish, when you meet an adventurer or someone else, you can ask me if you can roll for this. I'm going to try and add it to D&D Beyond as a skill that you can add probably in something like tools or something like that. I'll see if I can find it or not. But if I can't, just keep in mind that at any time you can ask me the same way that you would make a normal skill check. So it is this skill that has awakened within all of you.
To be able to recognize people who have
touched another shard.
Okay. Is that different from insight?
It would be. It's something that only someone who has actually been or touched another shard that can actually do this. And like I said, it's sort of like your essence noticing this particular taint or particular, not exactly contamination, but change in the way that the soul is made.
We'll call it wintuition.
Sorry?
On what skill will we assign it?
It's going to be a wisdom base.
Okay.
Because it is within the same thing as perception and insight. It's just a different kind of sense.
You can add your jack of all trades to it.
Yes, I did. Damn right I did. I just called it Shard Affinity.
Sure. Like I said, I'm going to try and add it in D&D Beyond. I never actually tried to write a new skill in D&D Beyond, so I'm not sure how that's going to go. But I'm going to try and add it. If not, just remember that is now a sense that you can have. All right, so Tissul wish you well on your travel and is eager to hear the next time you meet any new experience that you will have had during your travels.
I would ask him probably where he's headed next. Just, where he's off to.
He answers to that. I have been asked to make a short reconnaissance flight within the mountains. But after that, I will be stopping at Catherine, and someone needs an escort from that village to Karatner. For business purpose.
Well, good luck until we meet again.
I am sure we will. Be safe, be well, and we'll see one another again in the future. And then you see Tisul reach from behind him, pull out his wings in a single movement, and fly off.
Icar smiles in approval and nods as he sees him fly away.
Amy looks
what
up.
time is
A
it?
tear rolling down his eye.
What time is it here or within the world?
In game.
Okay. Probably something. Well, all right. You all.
Like it's not dark out, right?
No.
No.
You woke up in the morning, so right now
I thought their wings only worked in the dark.
No, they need a shadow to draw it out, but this is why they often wear shoulder cloaks or half cloaks, so that there is always a source of shadow on them. But once they're pulled, they become solid. They don't dissolve in light. It's basically shadow magic.
Cool.
So if you don't want them flying away on you in a fight, steal their cloak.
Take their cloak.
Take their cloak and cast a daylight spell, I think, right above them. All right. So right now, was it the only reason why you wanted to know the time, or do you want to know anyway?
No, I was just
okay. No, it's still in the morning. Probably somewhere within 10 and 11. Since you all talked, made a report, went to buy your things, and you leave. So, where is my mouse scroll? There it is. All right. So you leave Caravel. So, are you going to take the long road or try and go town hopping?
Which was faster again? It was
the faster one and slightly less safe is the commercial road. The longer one but safer one is town hopping.
You can just take the commercial road. We're true adventurers now. We have a scent.
We smell. All right.
It's the smell of victory.
And a little bit of Dragonborn musk.
That's just natural.
To Remy, it smells just as good as cinnamon. All right. All right. Well, the day is kind of nice. It's not windy today.
Hey.
Since it's not windy today, like during the trip, like sort of like in the back of the wagon, Raimi is going to attempt to copy down the contents of the scroll into his ritual book.
Okay. I believe it's an Arcana roll.
I don't think it's a roll. I think you just do it.
It depends on the source.
It's different if you're... Because like if you're copying a scroll and making another scroll, like that requires an Arcana check. But copying a spell into a ritual book or even a spell book, it's mostly just the time and money.
It always depends. If you're copying from a scroll, I think you have to make the Arcana roll. If you're copying from a spell book or from someone giving you the spell, you don't need a roll. I think it's that. Hold on. Let me confirm that.
Okay. I do know that there are Arcana rolls for like making scrolls.
All right, here you go. Copying a spell. I think it's the Dungeon Master Guide.
In the feat, it says you just, if it's on the spell list for the class you chose and the spell's level is no higher than half your level rounded up, then you just do it for 2 hours per level and 50 gold per level.
Well, I think like the thing he's trying to look at is that there's any difference between
copying from a scroll in a book.
From a spell book versus a scroll.
It says if you come across a spell in written form, such as a magical spell scroll or a wizard spell book.
Okay, well, if this is, why can I say the word? If they specify it in, I'm suddenly very close to my microphone. If they specify it in the feat, then yeah, it's going to be
Discord.
That. Okay. This is a class spell, but higher. Okay. You can use an action to read the scroll and cast the spell. No, that's not what I want.
I pasted text from the feat in the Discord.
Okay. Oh, I'm gonna. This is exactly what I was looking for. What did you? Yeah, no, you mean the feat from but I'm looking at scroll from the Dungeon Master Guide. A wizard spell on a spell scroll can be copied just as a spell in a spell book can be copied. When a spell is copied from a spell scroll, the copier must succeed on an intelligence arcana check with DC equal to 10 plus the spell level. If the check succeeds, the spell is successfully copied. Whether the check succeeds or fail, the spell scroll is destroyed. And the feat itself. So are we gonna have a conflict between the two ways that this? Oh, you just sent it to me. I'm not gonna go in the book and. If you come across such as you might be able to add it to your ritual book. The spell must be a spell. The spell can no higher and must the process of copying the spell into your ritual takes 2 hours. The cost represent. Okay, so they say you might be able to add it to your ritual book. So if we take the wording exactly as it is, you have to succeed a Arcana roll with a DC of 11. If you succeed, the spell is copied inside your ritual book. If you fail, you lose the scroll.
All right. Well, in which case, I'll be rolling it with advantage.
For which reason?
For
which reason?
Well, technically 2 reasons. 1, background, and 2...
Oh, yes! yes, sorry. Yeah, your background. Yeah, never mind. Go ahead.
Well, even just apart from the background, like Kenkus can get advantage on stuff for stuff they've seen before. Yeah, definitely not taking that one. That actually would have been a failure. That's better. A 19.
Then, when you reach roughly noon, just before the time it is to eat a little bit, you look at this and feel some sense of pride inside of you. You have successfully copied the scroll to your miniature spellbook.
and then probably just for since we're going by that version of it, and as he finishes, perhaps everybody notices as the scroll just shrivels up and burns to dust.
Yeah, of course, audience, because Remy is doing this probably right beside you. Well, he's just writing everything, and since you're using the commercial road, it's usually a paved road, especially the closer you get up north, so it's very smooth. And just writing it, and then suddenly you see the scroll that you just spent 20 gold go.
I've seen this before, though. So
Once before, yes.
But I'd remember.
You don't know if it means it worked, though. You just remember seeing this.
Although you'll see that Raimi has a very proud look on his facial features.
I'll assume it worked.
You see this from his eyes because his mouth doesn't move that much.
In fact, even as you're driving, he just kind of holds up the ritual book up to you like a child showing a drawing that he made.
Looks proud. All right. So yeah, easily. All right. The first leg of this travel does take you within a flourishing small village, almost a town now, at exactly 1 day of travel. So you could stop there. Well, less than a day of travel. You could stop there, spend the night, or just keep on going and probably arrive somewhere during next day at the next town.
So wait, what time is it when we reach that town exactly?
That town? Hold on. It's probably somewhere like 1 or 2 o'clock.
Oh, we could keep going then.
So you reach this, right now it's more of a village, but you see that it's becoming more and more vibrant with things. You see that they're currently building bigger structure around the town square, the village square, round, where the well is. So it's slowly becoming not just a well, but an actual town square. But yeah, you get there at 2 o'clock, so you decide to just keep on going. All right. Meeting that I need.
And just keeping an eye out for anything interesting as they're going through town, or village rather.
All right. Well, that would be included within a perception roll that you would make to keep an eye out. So right now we have audience helming the cart during the day and Remy acting as a lookout. So far it's always been that. So you can always do that. So just to officialize things, of course a horse can't just walk for 10 days without getting any sleep. A horse needs a few hours of good sleep every day. So if you want to just keep on going always, you can make shifts because Fisher, because of your method of sleeping, you can easily just go in the cart.
Jet lag isn't a thing.
You can just go in the cart and fall into your sentry mode and wake up later on during the day, take the night shift. Everyone's going to try and sleep in the cart. If you drive well, they're going to be able to get better rest. If not, well, you're going to look like what audience looks like right now. So... but you can do this. However, the horse will only be able to keep this track for a few days in a row. After that, it's really going to need a good night's sleep. Well, a night's sleep for a horse. So you could easily keep on going. Using that method, you could keep on going all the way to the next town, to the next, yeah, that's it, town, within a single shot. Your horse would be tired when you get to the next town, but it can be done if you use this working shift system. Or you can decide that the horse is... Or you can decide that the horse is better always rested in case you need to get a little more juice out of him. I don't know, you could decide to run away from something. Or have to run away from something.
Oh.
Do you guys want to try sleeping while Fisher is driving the cart?
I mean, you said it was 2. Do we need to sleep even?
No, this is
to get to the
we're
next.
not stopping at the place.
If you're not stopping
Yeah.
at this small village that's slowly becoming a town, it's a total of 2 days of travel. But if you decide to go 24 hours, since the horse can get most of his sleep just when you take your break for yourself, when you eat, or things like that, the horse can go on for an entire day, 2 days, before I'll start making him do rolls to see if they get exhausted.
Yeah.
But you have to adopt a shift system. But because of Fisher, it's easy. You can just fall into the sentry rest and then take the night shift. But that will also desynchronize everyone. Not everyone is going to regenerate their resources at the same time. So you also have to take that into consideration in case there's a battle.
I mean, yeah, we can take shifts.
Okay. Well, in that case, you will most certainly get to the next town within 24 hours.
I always want my wallet.
And this is usually white one for... Okay.
I always want my wallet.
So, you just keep on going. You find this nice little village and look at everything.
Is that in the middle section?
There really is nothing to...
I haven't had it.
nothing of note. I can hear someone's family
Sam,
talking
your
in the
dad's
background.
really loud.
I see. I can mute.
All right. So you make your way to the countryside. It's pretty uneventful. Even as you get into the village, it's a pretty normal day. Goes with the weather. It's starting to be a bit hotter, but hey, it's your first non-windy day in a straight week. So there's always that. Night comes, and not a lot seems to be going on. You all take your shift, you all switch. So Fisher, since you're not an extremely accomplished cart rider,
Horse driver.
yeah, I'm gonna have to make
Individual.
Wow. Rude. He's only 3, okay?
Yeah,
What did you accomplish by the time you were 3?
You'd be surprised.
I mean,
You'd actually be surprised. You'd actually also be surprised how much Rami accomplished by 3 years of age.
well, first of all, I fucked. Can you say the same?
Totally forgot Eric Cochran mature by the time they're like 2.
Yeah,
Or whatever.
they also
Three.
die somewhere within 30 and 50 years old. So
No, they're not expected to live past 30. Adventurers even less.
Alright. Am I rolling something?
animal handling.
Oh, that's not good.
Don't worry, unless you roll a natural 1, you're not gonna derail the cart.
Okay. 12.
12. All right, well, that's good enough. You managed to keep everything stable enough throughout the night so that audience and Raimi and Tykar can have a good enough sleep to recover. However, you are awakened a few times during the night as Fisher is not excessively proficient and just takes a bad bump and and you fall back asleep. But with a 12, it's enough for you to all get, although a bit agitated, a long rest. And as morning comes, well, would you look at that? The wind is back. So, as the morning comes and the sun slowly starts to rise, moon fading slowly in the horizon, and the wind picks up again, and it's starting to rain a little bit. But fortunately, you arrive after having taken 24 hours of cart travel, maybe just before the sunrise. You can just see the first few lights in the sky. You arrive in a... I keep mixing the names. Sorry. You arrive in a town. The town of Uagar, which you know is the last town to where you're supposed to get. There is a small village. If you keep on going, somewhere within the next 4 hours, you'd get to a place where the road splits in a Y shape. If you go left, you're going to get to Otanel. If you go right, you're going to go directly to your new quest.
But right now we're in a town.
Right now, you're in a town. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's morning. Like I said, the sun is barely starting to rise. So there's still... It's probably going to be another hour before Tykar, audience, and Raimi wakes up. They're all bundled up inside the cart. You do feel the rain starting to fall. It's not a big rain. It's not a drenching rain. It's more like a misty rain. You're gonna get all your clothes damp, but you won't feel like you just fell into a well while you were sleeping. Like I said,
I guess I'll pull over and wait for them to wake up.
Yeah, like I said, I'm stopping the description at this town because I made my map more toward the spectrum of realistic. So there's a shitload of village on my map. And to make sure that we don't spend an entire episode on each single village of the travel, I just go over as if they were encounter. So basically, if you stop at a village, you pay the toll. If there's no encounter during the day, that's it. But since towns and cities are bigger, I'm stopping in case you want to make some purchase, in case you want to look around. There's more people inside a town than inside a village. But if you don't want to have anything in there, I'm just going to keep going.
I'll stop and wait until everybody wakes up.
All right.
Does anybody need anything? Or do y'all want to keep going?
Raimi's
going to...
No, go ahead.
Raimi's going to cock his head and and just he's going to, I guess, minor illusion a map.
Okay.
We already have one of those.
He's going to point at the map.
I'm better at understanding a Kenku than I believed I would.
Audience, where's the map?
I'll pull it out.
Is that what you wanted, Rami?
He's just gonna kind of take the map, point to the cart, and then back to the map.
Are you wondering where we are?
He nods.
Can I find where we are on the map?
Yeah, relatively easy. Just don't.
Right here.
I'd say just don't roll a 1. Intelligence, that would be.
Oh.
Investigation
6.
if you have it.
Oh. 8. I rolled a 3.
So you get handed the map and you do this thing where you look at the map, then turn it around, then you realize that you just turned it upside down. So you turn it back to the same place it was, and look at everyone, see if they notice that you just made something really stupid, and then point at where on the map it says Ogar. So it's in the northern portion.
Alright.
There is a lake, maybe less than half a day. No, man, not even. You can probably see a lake when you're on a hill. That's to your left. So I don't know if you notice where this is on the map. So right where you are right now, it is a town nestled between the forest and a lake. You have a cross intersection at the center of the town, of the town.
Is it the one just south of Ottenel that's to the right of the lake?
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. On your map, you don't have a name there. Sorry.
Nope.
That's right. I gave you a map, and I only placed the name of the town and villages that you actually had visited. Sorry. Yeah, that's exactly where you are right now.
Well, do y'all have anything to do here, or are we good to keep going?
I'm good.
Good. I'm good.
Maybe he's just going to tilt his head, and you'll hear again in a gruff voice. It's all right, men, time for reconnaissance.
I mean, we're not super close to where we're going yet. I mean, I guess we could ask around a bit if you think that'd be a good idea.
So when you look at the map, where you are right now, you do see that not long, maybe 3 or 4 hours after you leave this town, you will get to the Y intersection, where if you take left, you'll go to Ottenel. If you take right, you'll go where your quest is. There is a really small village that is on your way there.
At the next Y?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, if they can see that the map, I guess Raimi would probably like point to that place and repeat what he said. It's like, well, then, time for some reconnaissance.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Then I believe.
Tycho, are you good to keep going?
Always.
Okay.
Then we will keep going.
Okay. Well, in that case, getting to this town is simply a matter of traveling for a good 8 hours. So, as the rain is slowly starting to fall all around you and the sky is getting covered, you again try to place the tarp at the back of the cart so, things, you don't all get all wet. And it's not the most comfortable thing, it's sort of like trying to wrap yourself in a raincoat that doesn't actually have a hole. You just put everything around you and rise it a little bit so you can see the back of the cart and just wait there listening to the rain. It's a gentle rain, but it's still annoying because it's gonna be a rain for a while. And okay, you travel for an entire day without any problems that you can see, at least. I forgot, what was the perception roll that you made, Remy?
Oh, you didn't technically call for one, but I'll go ahead and roll for one now.
Oh, okay.
We talked about it, but we didn't get around to it.
Oh, okay.
That'll be a 22.
22. All right. So as you change your shift, and Remy goes into his sentry rest at the back of the cart, and Audience and Remy take the place at the front, getting wet because it's not necessarily a good thing to pull the tarp above the seat at the front. But you can leave your backpacks at the back of the cart, so they're going to be mostly dry. With a 22, like I said, you don't notice a lot. It's fairly quiet. Actually, as you reach, it's only a few hours away. So, yeah, you don't see any danger during the day. However, during the day, you do see something that Remy, Audience, you have seen them because you lived so close to the Dragonborn capital. Remy, you've never actually seen that. Fisher, well, you've lived in the Dragonborn city, but right now you're taking your sentry rest. And Tykar, well, you've lived in them most of your life. As you are traveling on this road, you do at one point see a huge shadow slowly make its way above you. As you look up, you realize that it is a very large ship-shaped mass slowly making its way slightly to the left toward Otanel. It is a flying ship. It's not a sight that you often see. Like I said, Audience, because you lived so close to the Dragonborn capital, you did see them every once in a while. You've never been on board one, and it's sort of more like a, oh wow, it's a flying ship. Don't they come any bigger than that? Because, it looks like, it's like you've never been to an airport. You know that they're planes exist, but you've never actually seen one land. Certainly never seen one from this close. You'd say it's probably 2,000 or 3,000 feet in the air.
Okay.
Remy, this is literally the first time since you've never been in a skyport before. You are aware that they exist, but this is something you have literally never seen before. A ship that flies.
Ramy has actively like literally jumped into his seat and like staring up. Like he's now standing on where he was sitting before and just like trying to get like a like basically like doing that thing just like that, you know, that kids do like if they do see like an airplane.
Try to touch it.
There is a very noticeable longing look in his eyes.
Tykar, as you are very familiar with that, you recognize that this isn't that big of a ship. It's the same size as a normal merchant ship that you'd find in the ocean. So, yeah, you know. Looks like the one you started in, not the one you finished in.
Did you say floating or flying?
No, this was in a flying ship.
Okay. Huh. That's what it looks like from under. Oh well.
You do notice that this one doesn't have a hot air balloon. It seems to be working with a system of sails placed on the sides.
Okay.
But after a few moments, you see it keep going to the left. You can all easily deduce that it's probably going to Otanel, which sort of helps to make sense of why some merchants would have been interested in getting escorted from there and not from somewhere else. And also why Otanel might be such a big city. A skyport is... well, it opens up a lot of business possibilities. But you decide to go right. You bid farewell to the ship, that keeps going in the sky, and you just keep on going toward this small rustic village. That is another hour and a half of travel. Still getting soaked by the rain, but hey, at the end of the day, it stops raining, and the wind dies down. And you at least get a nice, not wet, not windy evening. And so you get into this very small village where you can see only 4 houses within its square with the well in the middle of it. And on the distance, you look around and you do see one house that's probably 1,000 feet away in the huge field just beside it. You gather that this is not a big village, but it is one of the only 2 access to the Elven territories. So probably it's because it's very new. As you get into this village, since your quest is not far, what would you like to do in this village?
What time is it?
The day is ending. It's probably like 4:30, 5 o'clock.
I would like to probably look for the equivalent of an inn, because it would have probably both food and perhaps any information.
All right.
Most likely.
Yeah, well, usually an inn is one of the first thing that is built in a village. When you see this few building in a village, there's usually a place of prayer, an inn, and a place of commerce, where you will usually find the person that makes metal stuff, wood stuff. Sometimes it's just a place where the people who actually know this come during the day to make them, and then they go back to whatever they were doing. So yeah, it's not also too late. Some people are starting to make their way to the inn and sharing a pint at the end of the day before they go back to their home. So there's a little bit of people in there. All talking about, you see a little bit more half-elf than usual. But it's not that much of a surprise, since you are barely an hour away from the frontier of the elven forests. So you see quite a few half-elf, mostly humans and gnomes. A few halfling, but those ones are just coming in, as halflings are very well known, especially on Estron, for their farming ability. So most likely one of the house that you saw in the distance belonged to a halfling. So they are just starting to get back in.
All right. So, what were we doing here again?
We are investigating some lights. Right, audience?
Lights.
You're the one who accepted the quest.
Yes, that is correct. We're investigating some strange pink lights.
Thykar looks puzzled. Like, this is not the grand adventure that I was promised. This is a bit underwhelming, to be quite honest.
Fisher and Raimi, I was so waiting for this one. This is the first time that audience actually says pinkish lights. Can you make an intelligence roll for me?
Are
This
these
is straight intelligence.
sound similar to the lights we saw coming down from the sky? That's a 22.
Right.
Just straight intelligence?
Yeah, memory.
Yeah, 22.
17.
17. All right, Fisher and Raimi, when audience say pinkish light, there's sort of this moment when in your mind it says pinkish light? You never said anything about pinkish lights. Yes, the lights that came down from the skies where you saw the two creatures fight were bright pinkish lights. 3 of them. And it is the only source of pinkish light that you know of. Naturally forming pinkish light.
I want to imagine, like Benny hearing this, like, squawks a moment. And just kind of, like, looks toward audience.
Yeah, pinkish lights.
I guess you weren't awake to see them the first time, so I guess it's fair enough that you didn't think to mention that detail. In case you would like a short history lesson, Tykar, these pinkish lights are generally what happens when two shards brush closely together. And the last time we saw this, Raimi and I saw it from a distance. Some sort of epic battle between very powerful entities. So I think your grand adventure is not as far off as you think it is.
Well, I hope you forgive my skepticism because I too am capable of producing pinkish lights, and he'll produce 4 pinkish orbs with dancing flames that float around him.
Yes, make those about 50 times bigger, would you? And have them fall from the sky.
I mean, all right, fair enough.
Don't sell yourself short, though. Those are, yes, cool pink lights. Good job.
Raimi is just off in the corner now, like arms crossed in a huff.
I'm gonna roll intelligence to see if I got his sarcasm. 2. All right, we're good.
Well then, I think we should do some information gathering. You said it's basically happy hour, right?
Beginning of happy hour.
Yeah. Does somebody else want to handle this so I don't know, scare a little gnome out of town again?
I'll look.
On accident.
Yeah, I can continue.
When you say on accident, you do hear Terranad say, "Yeah, sure, that was an accident."
Raimi says, "A careful snake keeps its head to the ground."
Uh-huh.
Did you just call Fisher a snake?
Don't think that's the point, but audience, you have a way with small town people and alcohol.
That is true.
Want to go see what you can learn?
Yes, I can do that. All right.
We'll be here for moral and intellectual support.
All right. I will look around. I will look around. Who looks like someone who would be willing to talk to adventurers?
Okay.
Who might know something.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure the bartender the inn owner is going to talk to you if you go next to him, but doesn't necessarily know anything. So
Yeah.
You look around, look at how people are talking and interacting with one another. You do notice a halfling that's sitting. Looks like he's sitting alone, but he seems to be looking around everywhere, and he seems to be nurturing, or at least doing his best to live with what looks like an injury on his side. Not a natural place to be injured on a farm, unless you're handling animals.
Alright. I will walk over to him then.
Alright, well, you're quite large, so as you approach, you just... hello? Is there anything I can do to help you?
I'll say, yes, we are some wandering or some adventurers who have came to check out the unusual pink lights that have been seen around this area. We were wondering if you know anything about them.
When you say pink light, not only do you see him just gasp a little bit, but you also hear sort of an echo, 1 or 2 gasps coming from elsewhere in the rooms. Pink lights.
seems as though you know of them from your reaction.
Oh well, yes, actually, quite a few of us have noticed a few odd things ever since this light came. We saw it just a little bit north, almost next to the forest. And these three lights, they just came down from the skies and slowly turning around one another and hitting the ground. And well, we did send people to see what it was, the bravest of us, and no one saw anything that night. But ever since, we've been having trouble. Well, for some it's called trouble. For others, it's funny. And he looks toward a gnome on the other side of the room. We've been finding charred remains of animals. It's a bit bad because, well, sheep burns really interestingly. We've found a few ones that were burned to a char. And he finds it funny. Because he says it's free barbecue. But it's probably pretty painful for the poor animals. And it is also our livestock. We sort of depend on the wolves. These sheep.
And I was saying, if you don't mind, could I ask about your injury? An unusual place to, naturally just get injured.
Yeah. I'm actually not sure how that happened. I was working in the fields and I saw what looked like the bright flash fire. I turned around, I started walking to it, but then, I don't know, feels like I lost time. And I had this injury, and he just lifts his shirt just a little bit, and you see that it's really red, sort of consistent with a burn scar. I don't know how I got this, but it's
interesting.
I did want to note that Raimi would have also gone into the tavern and listening around for everything. I don't know if he could hear this conversation, but
well, knowing audience, I'm pretty sure he's not trying to be very discreet. So there's a good chance that you're hearing it. Especially if you just make a few steps and you just don't mind having the awkward I'm spying on him while not trying to make him notice it sort of stance. Just leaning in the air like this. Or you can just walk right next to him and you're going to hear everything that's been said very clearly.
It's well, what Raimi is kind of doing is especially because there were multiple reactions throughout the tavern, he's trying his best to keen in on any related mutterings as well. So it's just he's basically just trying to do the fishing for rumors or from other sources because he can't talk to other people really.
All right,
so he has to rely on what other people say.
All right, make a perception roll for me, please.
Okay. Wait, is that a... Oh, cool, that is a 20. So, natural 20, 27.
Okay. Well, yeah, with a natural 20, you basically just go in the middle of the room, plop there, and start listening, and, it looks like no one's trying to be discreet right now, because that guy is slurping his whatever it is he's eating really loud. You hear audience say all of these things and talk about all this, so you get this, okay. Creature, burn scar, lost time. Then you hear another conversation. Someone saying, yeah, the pink lights, it's been so bad. They keep killing the sheeps. It's like someone's tearing them apart, then eating them, but leaving them there. You hear the gnome that the other one was pointing to just go, free barbecue. You hear a half-elf somewhere else in the room say, yeah, especially at night. I've heard you can see it in the distance at night, like brush fire, but you get there and there's nothing. And then you hear someone else say that yeah, and did you notice there's a scent of charred things. You just walk about in the field and then suddenly it feels like someone just made a campfire there, but there's nothing. These are the other rumors that you hear, the center of conversations that have been lit up by audience saying out loud pinkish lights.
Got a BRB real quick.
Okay, well, anyway, we're finishing in a few minutes, so.
It's like, yeah, Raimi's tapping into the universe
Matrix.
around him. Meanwhile, back at audience's conversation.
Okay. Audience, would I have anything else to ask? Not really. So that's it. I'd probably just be like, well, I hope you feel better. We will try and, of course, deal with this problem and figure out what's going on.
Well, that would be very appreciated. I mean, we're not even halfway through summer, and we have already lost around 20 sheep. If this keeps going, we're not gonna have anything by the end of the summer. And if you figure out why I have a burn scar, I'd really appreciate it.
I'll kind of give him a smile and try and look like this confident, experienced adventurer. Like, don't worry, we've dealt with far worse than this before.
Make a that would be performance.
All right.
You're trying to give off.
We got the scent. Don't worry about it. Okay. Do I have any plus bonuses to my performance? Is that just +2? Yeah. Okay. So unnatural 20.
Wow. Well, you certainly managed to give an air of confidence, and don't worry, citizen. We will take care of this. There's sort of something majestic in the way that you say it. Even Remy realized this with the natural 20 he got. He hears you saying this, and even him, it's, whoa. I know that's not
he's
true.
just kind of like leaning over a little bit, just like to take in his magnificence.
A little bit of the radiance. You can immediately see within the eyes of the halfling just, thank you very much. It's really going to be appreciated. And, if you need anything else, just come by. I live over there. It's when you look outside, you see a house. There's another one roughly 500 feet to its right. This is where I live. There's my wife, and we only have one kid right now, but the second one is coming. Yeah, if you need anything, just come by.
Well, thank you. Keep that in mind.
Gives you a wave. Then he goes back to what he was drinking.
Speaking of, I will go get food.
All right, so in terms of D&D, you basically succeeded so well into convincing him. You have your folk hero option opened in this village right now.
Okay.
That's damn. Those are some easily impressed peasants. Holy shit! Like, man, he speaks with authority. What a goddamn hero! Jesus.
I mean, I just said I was an experienced adventurer, and he believed me.
And he gave a very, very good performance. So he inspired everyone. And it is part of his background, so it's easier for him to get that result.
I'm like, listen, we just dealt with the nightmare shard. We can deal with some pink lights. Please.
Famous last words. All right, well, it is a small town, a small village, sorry. So you don't have that much choice. For food, it goes up to modest. So 3 silver. You basically get a bit of everything. Just not a lot of everything, but a bit of everything. Enough to maintain you if you are going to go do very hard work. But it's more based on efficiency of what you're eating rather than pure quantity. But of course, you can have less than that. There's always the poor meal, just the basic what you need to get through a day and not a drop more.
I mean, I would have the modest meal, probably, you know.
All right.
Gotta have some energy.
All right, well then you've just bought yourself for 3 silver a meal for the evening and the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as in-stay go, you got... Well, right now, because it is such a young town, you really only have mostly poor rooms. So it's basically just a bed, a footlocker, or something like that to put your belongings in. And you have 2 modest rooms, which have a little bit more in them. But not much. It's basically just, oh, now I can sit on a desk. Cool.
Oh, I will spend the money on those rooms.
All right, so modest is 5 silver. Tykar and Remy.
Did the innkeeper say out loud there were only 2 modest rooms?
Yes. Especially since audience asked, and he has never been known to be subtle. Except when he's trying and failing most of the time.
I will definitely try to approach the counter rapidly, try to snatch up the second one.
So you basically hear audience go, I'll take the bigger room. And immediately you see Taika say, I'll take the other one.
Actually, wait. Dexterity contest.
Sure, why not? Tykar and Remy, dexterity roll to see which one of you said it first.
Jesus.
You don't understand. Remy has become accustomed in his own way to a certain style of living. But come on.
Okay.
That one's not as good.
16.
15. Damn.
Oh, let's go.
So wait, they both rolled 16?
Sounds like it.
My total is a 15.
Oh.
Total is 15.
He rolled a 16.
So basically, you both get to the desk, and is everything all right? Oh, damn! I don't know. I just lost the one on my screen. All right.
Noise.
Well, as long as it's not the screen where everything is, we can keep on going. So basically what happens, you see audience, I'll take the bigger room, and then with half a second of distance between the two, you hear, well, in what words would Remy say it? What voice would he take?
He would literally take audience's voice.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Because he definitely heard it.
That's what I was imagining. So you hear Tykar, because I think Tykar rolled 16. You hear Tykar go, yep. I'll have the other one, and exactly at the same time you hear an echo of audience saying, I'll take the mod. You simply mimicked someone who was speaking slower than Tykar was speaking. That's the only reason why he beat you.
My speech is like my native tongue is like akin to whistling, which is pretty damn fast. So fast talking is kind of my thing. But now you have a sample of my voice to order a room next time.
Perhaps Starkirk doesn't see it, but there is just like this. There is this glare across the room.
And you see,
he does not know Scorching Ray, but it feels like it.
Man, sorry, can't hear you from my tax bracket, buddy.
Jesus.
Hey, Pipsqueak.
Fair, I think Remy actually has way more money than you do. But...
Does he?
Does he? Oh, in gems, probably.
Well,
actually,
he's got a lot of money.
Yeah.
Remy has a lot of gems on him.
He has a lot.
That's fair.
Yeah, he has a lot of gems.
He likes to shine his jewels. So, well, Tykar, you said it first. So, the owner for a moment just watch this odd moment as you sort of hear your voice and then an echo of audience voice. Hesitate for a moment and go for Tykar. He looks at you with a doubt because you use the same voice as audience. He's sort of not sure if you actually said something. So you see him give the keys to Tykar and ask for his money.
And I will slap a 5 silver on the counter.
All right. So, unfortunately, Remy, you are forced taking the bare minimum room.
I need to know: is there anything in this room right now? What's decorated around the room?
In the inn or in your room?
But it's like, are there any objects on tables like used mugs or?
Oh yeah, definitely. We're starting.
Or
people are starting to get here to finish their day, talk about what happened during the day, and then just mix a little bit and then go back home. So yeah, there's starting to be stuff. There's starting to be people. There's one mug maybe 5 feet away from you that's been abandoned there. You see a table where the people who ate just ate and left.
Is there a mug that still has like a liquid inside of it?
Try me, bitch. I will wreck this tavern.
Make a perception roll for me, please.
It's like, yes, Raimi is this petty. 16.
Well, you're lucky. I rolled one that has 16 or higher. So yes, you actually turn around, and that table I just mentioned, where the people ate and left, you can see liquid in the mug.
Am I gonna have to break up a brawl between two birds?
Cockfight.
Yes. Yeah. So with kind of like a flick of his wrist, like his invisible mage hand wanders over to this mug.
Okay. And as Tykar smiles pretty much the same way he is smiling right now, but with a bird beak, looking at his key for his room, proud of having beaten you.
Just really get around my talons. No, I have fingers, that's right. Talons are on my feet, as an arrow. Okay.
So what does Raimi do? It's a mug with
It's
liquid
like
in it. It doesn't weigh 20 pounds. It's...
Yeah, just like Raimi is just going to kind of like nonchalantly walk in the other direction, but as he does, he's going to have this mug just kind of like start floating over to get as close as it could, the effective range of this mug.
Your goal is to throw it or empty it above him.
Like, it's somewhere in the middle where he's going to have it splash over to him.
Okay. Make a stealth check for your hand.
That's fair. It is right now a floating mug.
So it should be...
It is in fact a floating mug. That is going to be an 18.
Is Tykar expecting some sort of retaliation from Remy? Be honest.
I mean, I did just tell him it's of a lower class. But I don't
Although,
think
as an
I'd be
important note, as I did
expecting
say,
something.
Raimi was sort of like walking away in a different direction.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm not terribly concerned that he would do something that would make me irrationally mad.
Alright, well, in that case, it beats your passive perception. Remy, you are confident that Tykar is either not seeing the mug making its way to him, or he is very proficient at hiding that he noticed it.
And with that, in the opportune moment, Raimi splashes the contents of the mug onto Tykar.
And no one notices it in the inn. I haven't managed to roll a single die above 10. Alright, well, in that case, make a simple, oh goodness, range attack roll. And you are surprising Tykar, so a surprised ranged attack roll.
I guess like roll. I guess like roll twice, just using dexterity, since it would be just like an improvised
weapon. Exactly.
Attack.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that's gonna be hard to beat, but. Oh yeah,
It doesn't have
definitely
very
not
high
the second one.
AC, so
It's a 23. I rolled a 19 on the die.
I was looking at.
Well, I mean that it definitely beats a 15 AC.
Oh yeah, and I was trying to look at what is your AC without the armor, because it's just liquid that's being thrown on you. So your armor is not gonna protect you. Your armor deflects the liquid. So yeah, you are feeling confident, you are fiddling with your key, feeling very proud, and then suddenly, slash! You are dripping with a liquid that, smell like stale beer.
Initial reaction is to just like shudder a bit and flinch, and then just be like, I've had shit thrown at me during shows. All right, and then I just turn around and start scanning motherfuckers for someone who looks even mildly guilty.
Remy, did you let go of the cup once the liquid was emptied, or did you leave it floating in the middle of the room?
He would have put the mug to the nearest table.
By the way, I just want to let you know that I actually rolled a nat 20 on perception.
Holy shit.
So basically what happens, audience, is since you're very close to Tykar, when the moment you see all this splash on him, you turn around so quick that you actually see the mug going down and placing itself on the table. However, with such a high perception roll, you have a good feeling that Tykar didn't catch this, and he's just glaring at the room, trying to figure out.
I know it's Remy then, but I don't know if I'm gonna say anything.
That's the thing, is that Remy has not in any way introduced his mage hand to anybody in the party.
Well, yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's Remy. I'm not that.
Well, the only two
you could maybe insight.
I would
that
do
would
the
probably
quick
be
scan. I would do the quick. I mean, I can roll insight, but
I feel like you don't need insight for that. That's
Yeah.
pretty straightforward.
that was pretty.
That is
straight.
very, very easy.
I didn't roll a nat one. I'm pretty sure
Well,
I know it's right.
I'd say because you rolled a natural one, you said?
No, I said I didn't
Okay.
roll it at.
Well, right off the bat, you know that the only person in the room, in your group, who can do that, use magic, is Fisher and Remy. You haven't actually seen Tykar use magic.
Yeah.
So it's one of the two.
Yeah, and I feel like I've been with Fisher long enough to know he wouldn't do something like that. Especially with no provocation towards him at all.
I guess, just for audience's benefit, I want you to imagine that Remy has sat himself in a nearby stool at the bar, just sort of like whistling to himself.
Audience leans back against the bar like, let's watch how this plays out.
Tykar, you look around and no one's standing up. No one's looking at you with an odd grin. You even see a few people who look slightly shocked.
All right, I see how it is. 3 gold to whoever can find the bastard who threw beer on me.
I'm not doing it for 3 goals. I'm not giving up Remy, he's my only follower.
You see you see a halfling raise his hand. I saw a mug move on its own.
Ah, interesting. Now, which magic user do I know would be enough of a fucking prankster to do something like that? Now let's roll intelligence to know if I know who I'm talking about.
Just goes after Fisher.
I did roll an 18 on intelligence, and I know that I figure it's probably not Fisher.
But at the same time as you say this, because of how mad you look, you also see a group of 2 human and a half elf turn around and point to a gnome at the other end of the room. You're sitting down. What? No!
I'll roll insight on the gnome.
Go ahead.
All right, 18.
He looks genuinely shocked at this. He didn't see this coming. What? No! What? Why do you always assume it's me?
I just look at him like deep in his eyes. Did you throw your nasty bottom of the barrel spit piss water shit at me? Was it you?
I'm on the other side of the room.
I saw him then.
All right.
He's sus.
He looks scared.
All right. All right. I'll just turn back, sort of ruffle my feathers through my wings a bit, just like shake off driplets that are still stuck. Well, the only valuable information came from the dude who told me that it was a floating mug, so I'll toss them the 3. Like, if you remember anything else, let me know, okay?
Maybe we'll remember this image forever.
I love rolling natural 20s.
Wait, actually, I'm gonna roll a control roll for me. I want to know if I would start laughing.
Oh, if you don't, you're probably gonna start laughing from what comes next. Like I just said, I like rolling natural 20s. I take from previous table when they said that natural 20s was equal DM's choice. I like rolling natural 20s.
Audience is smirking, but he's not laughing.
Tykar, as you turn around, you see this refrigerator-built, well, I'd say miniature refrigerator-built dwarf coming at you with a large stick in his hand and say, "Did you have a comment on my beer? I made it. Maybe you'd like me to feed it from your arse."
Audience now will
All
start
right,
laughing.
boys. All right, boys. I hope you guys didn't have work in like 3 hours.
If you want to start a fight on this, we'll say next session starts with this fight.
No audience is always
Okay, hang
ready
on.
for a brawl.
It's not a fight yet. Okay, I'll resolve this as Thyker would, but if it becomes a fight, we'll resolve this next week on Dragon Balls. I smell my feathers like, yeah, smells like it was made in a wash basin.
Oh, is that it, huh? And I bet you come from the arse of a bird that smells better than this. Maybe it's your own natural smell that you're getting.
No, the smells from the mountaintops are much fresher than the ones down here.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
that-
I know where I'm from, but I don't know where you're from. But you look like to come from the bottom side of a pigeon.
All right.
Now, maybe you'd like to settle this by drinking a few more. You know, just make sure that you're very nice to me. And show that you were speaking with anger in your heart, not toward me, but toward the moron. Or maybe you'd like to prove that you actually are a moron who came from the arse of a bird.
I've been holding back to like not just vicious mockery after vicious mockery on this asshole. All right. I guess Thunderclap would make too much collateral damage. Just everyone's eardrums bust immediately.
And you'd most likely kill a few innocent peasant with it.
Yeah.
Hey, you just insulted a dwarf about his beer.
Well then,
From experience, you know that that insult was probably sharper on him than you being treated as a pigeon.
fine, we can drink, but I would suggest that you start by emptying everyone's casks into your own belly. And he's gonna roll me a Wisdom 14 save.
Well, the die itself is 18.
Fuck.
And maybe you can shove that instrument you're carrying up yours.
Is he pointing to the lute, or is he pointing to the viol?
Probably the
Choose
lute.
it carefully, because it will... The lute? Okay.
Well, because you did say that your viol is inside of a sort of case, so it's not. He's not exactly
Yeah,
sure
but-
what's inside of it, but your lute is not inside a case, so he can see it.
So what do you say about my lute again?
That you can shove it up your ass.
Not before you get a good look at it. And we are starting next session with a fight, because I'm about to swing my lute at his fucking face.
Very well. So you can see this argument with a dwarf and Tykar, and just as you see them both becoming very mad, you see Tykar take his lute and go in for the first swing as the dwarf takes his huge stick that he was carrying and shoulders it and goes for a strike also. And this is where the camera ends, as the image of this begins to go to a slower mode and freeze in time just before initiative.
Oh god, I have zero regrets.
I love rolling natural
I'll start
20s.
writing on your sheet. Hey, but for real though, my health went up for some reason. I didn't touch anything.
Yeah, I know. I remember it was 24, now it's 31. I was trying to count this at one point, but then someone asked me a question and I forgot to keep on going at it. There's probably something that happened with maybe the program decided to go with the average hit point that you'd have. That's what I was trying to count.
All right.
Unless there's been a really massive change in the new book that just came out that would increase your hit points.
Wow. Yeah, Tasha was just like, yeah, you know what?
At level 4, it's impossible to have
Bards
an
need
odd
more
number,
health.
no matter what you have.
So yeah. So it's
that's-
probably
that's
something that
weird.
switched the thing to the average hit points that you would normally have. That's what I was counting and trying to.
That makes sense.
It was 24 before your hit points. So.
Yeah, I'll just manually change it. I'm just wondering why it happened.
That's all right. So, when next we meet, we'll have an actual bar fight. We'll see how that goes. And I honestly hope I didn't insult anyone who actually have an accent similar to the one I was using. I am not from where you are. I might have misused it. I am so sorry, but it was the first accent that came into my mind that worked well with a dwarf.
Oh, don't worry. Honestly, you kind of like gave me a Mike Myers Shrek more impression than anything else.
Okay. So if I offended anyone, I blame World of Warcraft. So
Easier to blame Tolkien.
no, actually, Tolkien, the books you didn't hear an accent coming from the books. And the books were there
That's
way
fair.
before the movie. I
Fine.
know, I've actually
Blame
read them.
Jackson.
So, all right. So I hope everyone had fun. I think there was a bit of problem with Twitch at one point, but yeah, if you're still there and there was a problem, don't worry about it. There will be a full version of this on YouTube and Patreon Monday. So, all right. So thank you for being there. Thank you for watching the show. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed yourself. And if you did, well, support us. You can always support us by following us on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Likes and comments are also very appreciated. And of course, you can support us by making a donation or becoming a Patreon. All of these things you can do with the different links that are below the window. And it's the same thing if you are watching this on YouTube. I've placed a link for every single one of these things in the description below the screen. So, and of course, you can always help us just by spreading the word of this channel and getting more people on board. So, thank you very much and have a nice week. See you next Wednesday. Keep safe. And as always, especially in these times right now, because they're getting crazier by the month, stay healthy. Bye.
Bye.
Good night.